Let's dive right into this explainer on a truly fascinating global analysis of how Generation Z is philosophically redefining our relationship with the Earth. We're looking at the Roots of Life case study today, and listen, this isn't just another survey. It's a deep, cross-cultural dialogue where high school students from various countries tackled some of the most profound, heavy, existential questions you can possibly ask about our planet.
Here's our roadmap for the case study. 1. The young philosopher's environmental approach. 2. Who is to blame for the system? 3. The secret of balance in nature. 4. Human, protector or destroyer. And 5. Is it possible to thrive together?
Starting with Section 1, Young Philosopher's Environmental Approach.
To understand how these international students tackled these issues like true experts, we really have to look at the framework they used, which is the Philosophy for Children, or P4C methodology. This totally removes the pressure of finding one single absolute right answer. Instead, it acts as a brilliant incubator for high-level ethical debate. These teens weren't just regurgitating textbook facts. They were exploring the massive gray areas of environmental science, respectfully challenging each other's perspectives, and organically building some incredibly mature philosophical frameworks.
Moving to Section 2, Who is to blame for the system? This first major theme plunges us right into the grim reality of things like factory farming and what we might call the environmental matrix. After seeing the brutal industrialized truth hiding behind the fantasy of family farming, the students faced a painfully difficult question. It's the ultimate modern paradox, right? If the overarching structures of our society are heavily polluting and deeply unethical, are we, the everyday citizens, just innocent bystanders, or are we totally complicit?
It is super fascinating to see how the groups initially split on this. Some students argued, hey, we're trapped. We are essentially just living under the rules and structures set by governments and massive corporations. But the other side? They immediately pointed the finger right back at our own daily choices. They argued that the system literally only exists because we buy into it. Look at this incredibly sharp quote from John, a student in Turkey. He pierces right through that convenient excuse of systemic inevitability. He points out that consumers are the pillars. The system tries to satisfy us and change itself to compete. He brilliantly articulates that these massive, intimidating corporate machines are entirely dependent on consumer satisfaction. If we demand change, they absolutely have no choice but to adapt to survive.
And that led to a really powerful global consensus. Yes, the system is deeply flawed, but because we are the ones funding it, we hold the absolute power to dismantle it. The students recognized a crucial reality. We vote twice, once at the ballot box and then every single day with our wallets. By actively reducing the demand for unethical factory farm goods, the individual completely reclaims their power.
Section 3, The Secret of Balance in Nature.
So how does this all translate from human systems to the wild mechanics of biodiversity? The groups tackled a deeply philosophical paradox here. If nature inherently relies on predators to stop overpopulation, is a state of peace even possible? We love to romanticize nature, but these students didn't shy away from the harsh biological reality that survival usually requires one species consuming another. You can really see their maturity as they grappled with the idea that nature's harmony is not some Disney fairy tale. It's a strict, often violent biological equilibrium. On one side you have balance as conflict, hunting, competition, the brutal everyday realities of survival. On the other side, balance is peace. The idea that overall stability and a healthy ecosystem is nature's own version of peace, even if it doesn't look like our human definition of the word.
They expertly concluded that true ecological balance is a perfectly tuned machine that actually requires both. You need mutualism and you need that struggle. They realized that if you just remove the conflict, say by getting rid of predators like wolves or snakes, you trigger catastrophic overpopulation, and that leads to the collapse of the entire ecosystem. Every single species plays a vital, necessary role.
Section 4, Human, Protector or Destroyer. This brings us to the real existential core of this explainer. Where exactly do we fit into this delicate natural machine? The teams got into a profound, cross-cultural debate over our intelligence. Does it make us nature's guardians, or are we its ultimate glitch? Since we have the unprecedented power to drastically alter our environment, are we supposed to actively manage it, or are we literally the only species actively ruining it?
Examining how students from different countries approach environmental problems is where we really see expert-level insight. Just look at how cultural lenses shape their philosophies. The students from Turkey focused very heavily on moral responsibility, looking at pollution and making ethical choices like establishing national parks. Meanwhile, the Polish teams analyzed it more through scientific ecosystem dynamics, things like resource consumption and biodiversity protection. And then the students from Serbia and Romania brought in this fascinating nuance, the development dilemma. How do we weigh technological progress against preserving nature? It becomes incredibly clear that solving these global issues means we absolutely have to understand all these diverse priorities.
During these intense debates, they hit upon a terrifying, undeniable truth. Team 6 summed it up perfectly. Destroying the ecosystem is a form of suicide. Because we are so deeply intertwined with the ecosystem, our destruction of it is ultimately an act of self-erasure. A few students even provocatively pointed out that if humans just disappeared tomorrow, the Earth wouldn't mourn us. It would probably just recover and flourish.
The big takeaway here is all about consciousness. Our distinct capacity to make conscious choices totally strips away our innocence. We aren't just surviving on pure instinct anymore. Our intelligence makes us experimenters. We can build artificial ecosystems, or we can destroy natural ones. That awareness is exactly what binds us to a much higher moral duty, to act as deliberate protectors.
Section 5. Is it possible to thrive together?
Let's see how these students transform all these heavy philosophical realities into an actual blueprint for the future. They didn't want to just point out problems, they wanted to define the ultimate goal. Team 5 drew a really sharp line between merely surviving as a biological instinct and intentionally thriving. Surviving is just getting by, taking whatever you need regardless of the cost to others. Thriving is a deliberate, elevated state of mutualism. It's a conscious existence where human progress doesn't come at the direct expense of the Earth. To actually achieve this thriving state, they mapped out precise, actionable steps to pull power away from those destructive corporate machines. Number 1, reduce demand by choosing ethical alternatives. 2, spread the word using social media to amplify the truth. And 3, actively change consumption habits. If you starve unethical systems of their funding, they are literally forced to change their practices and push for better laws.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, incredibly provocative thought straight from the minds of these young philosophers. Can we choose to become the balance that the Earth so desperately needs? Nature balances itself automatically, unconsciously. But as a species burdened with high intelligence, we actually have to consciously decide to participate in that balance. It's a massive question. Keep asking it, keep making conscious choices, and we'll see you next time.